For centuries, the ground beneath Haiti held its breath. The Enriquillo-Plantain garden fault line grinding and locking as tension quietly mounted. By January 2010, 3 million people filled the vibrant streets of Port-au-Prince, most living in fragile homes perched atop a seismic time bomb few could truly see coming. When that pressure finally erupted, 30 seconds changed the course of a nation. More than 230,000 lives lost. The heartbeat of a city silenced in a single devastating quake. How could so much destruction strike so fast? And why was Haiti left so vulnerable, even after the world rushed in to help? The answer starts with the story behind Haiti's deadliest 30 seconds. Beneath the hills and crowded streets of southern Haiti, two tectonic plates have been locked in a silent struggle for centuries. The Enriquillo-Plantain garden fault, running east to west, moves at about 20 millimeters per year, roughly the rate at which fingernails grow. But this motion doesn't glide smoothly. Instead, the plates catch and grind, storing energy year after year. The last time this fault gave way near Port-au-Prince was in the 18th century, with major earthquakes in 1751 and again in 1770. Since then, strain has only increased. Scientists tracking the fault with GPS and satellite radar found clear evidence. The crust was jammed tight, pressure building deep underground. Studies in the years before 2010 warned that so much stress had accumulated, a major rupture was inevitable. Yet the ground stayed quiet, giving the illusion of safety while the fault line wound itself tighter. Each day, the energy beneath Haiti's capital grew, unseen but relentless, waiting for the moment when centuries of tension would finally break free. By sunrise, Port-au-Prince is already wide awake. Street vendors line the boulevards, their stalls stacked with mangoes, rice, and second-hand clothes. Children in pressed uniforms hurry to crowded classrooms, dodging motorcycles and tap-taps. Haiti's brightly painted minibuses. The city pulses with nearly 3 million lives packed into hillsides and alleys, each neighborhood a patchwork of concrete and corrugated metal. Most families live in one- or two-room homes, often built without blueprints or permits. 86% of residents squeeze into slum conditions, where walls crack and roofs leak with every storm. Water comes from shared pumps or plastic jugs, and half the city's people have no access to a working toilet. For many, the day's earnings barely buy a meal. Over 70% survive on less than $2. Still, the markets buzz, churches fill, and street soccer games spill onto dusty roads. There's resilience in the rhythm, but also an uneasy edge. With so many living one accident away from disaster, the city's energy feels both vibrant and fragile. In this crowded capital, every routine is carried out in buildings never tested by what lies beneath the ground. At 4:53 p.m. on January 12, 2010, the ground convulsed beneath Port-au-Prince. For 30 seconds, the city was battered by violent shaking. Peak ground acceleration reached nearly half the force of gravity, enough to rip apart concrete and twist steel. The presidential palace buckled, the national cathedral's towers crashed to the earth. In Léogâne, west of the capital, entire neighborhoods flattened as shaking peaked near 0.9 G. Hospitals, schools, and thousands of homes collapsed in seconds, trapping families beneath slabs of stone and dust. The main prison crumbled, sending inmates fleeing into chaos. Streets filled with panicked crowds, the air thick with dust and screams. By nightfall, the city's skyline had vanished under 19 million cubic meters of debris, more rubble than could fill a convoy of shipping containers stretching from London to Beirut. In those 30 seconds, as many as 230,000 lives were lost, though the true toll will never be known. The capital's heart had been shattered in less than a minute. International rescue teams landed at the airport within hours, bringing search dogs, field hospitals, and engineers. In the first weeks, donations poured in. Over $13 billion pledged by governments and charities worldwide. The American Red Cross alone raised nearly $500 million, promising to help rebuild shattered neighborhoods. Yet, as months passed, frustration grew. Internal Red Cross documents revealed that only 6 permanent homes had been built with their funds, despite the scale of the crisis. Haitian community leaders spoke of empty lots and broken promises, while watchdogs traced millions spent on consultants and overhead. Meanwhile, a new disaster crept in. In October, cholera appeared for the first time in a century. The outbreak traced back to a UN base upstream from the Artibonite River, where leaking sewage contaminated the water supply. Over the next years, cholera sickened hundreds of thousands and killed more than 10,000 people. Public trust in foreign aid unraveled, leaving many to question who truly benefited from the world's generosity. In just 30 seconds, on January 12, 2010, a magnitude 7.0 earthquake claimed the lives of an estimated 230,000 people and injured 300,000 more in Haiti. The Enriquillo-Plantain garden fault had built up pressure for centuries, a risk documented by scientists but largely unaddressed due to limited resources and infrastructure. Despite $13 billion pledged in international aid, reports document persistent failures in reconstruction, such as the American Red Cross building only 6 permanent homes, and the UN introduced cholera outbreak caused over 10,000 additional deaths. The exact death toll remains uncertain, with estimates varying widely due to chaotic conditions and incomplete records. Today, Haiti's vulnerability to natural disasters endures, shaped by the same structural risks and unresolved challenges highlighted in 2010. The evidence is clear. Without sustained investment in resilient infrastructure and transparent aid, the consequences of locked fault lines and fragile cities remain a global concern.